Inglês Série Novo Ensino Médio, by Amadeu Marques. Editora Ática. Unit 1, page 9. Lines in the ice. At a glance. The Arctic, August 21st, 2007. From economist.com.
The temperature is rising in the Arctic. As global warming causes the ice caps to melt, natural resources and lucrative shipping routes are becoming more accessible. Russia's jaunty placing of a flag on the seabed near the North Pole was only one of several exploratory expeditions this summer. Norway, Denmark, through its sovereignty over Greenland, Russia, Canada and America could all claim a slice of the region. According to the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, each country is entitled to a 200 nautical mile, 370 kilometre economic zone from its coast, plus any area which it can prove is connected to its own continental shelf. The race for a slice of the Arctic's riches is obvious. But why is it happening now? Clearly, the boom in energy and commodity prices is changing the economics of difficult searches for oil, gas and minerals. The steady melting of polar ice caps as a result of global warming is making previously inaccessible deposits much easier to get at. It is also helping to open some formerly ice-bound shipping lanes. People who love the Arctic for its beauty, not its riches, are worried about its fate. The Arctic is believed to contain 25% of the world's undiscovered oil and gas, but those deposits are still very difficult to reach. The fact that no nation can conquer the Arctic alone is probably a source of relief.
Unit 2, page 21. The Book of Life. Your Genes and Chromosomes.
What makes you you and different from your friends, or even the other members of your family? 3 letters say a lot. DNA. Who you are depends on a lot of things, but each of us has a book of life in our cells. That book, the book of your life, is a present that you receive from your biological parents. It tells most of the story about who you are and how you grow. It helps determine how your body looks, functions, and responds to the things around you. Your book of life, your genome, is a code inside something called deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA. Imagine that the genome is a book. There are 23 chapters called chromosomes. Each chapter contains several thousand stories called genes. The book contains 1 billion words, a gigantic document, but it all fits inside the microscopic nucleus of a cell. Genomes come on long chains called DNA molecules. Each chromosome is 1 pair of very long DNA molecules. DNA is the material that determines your inherited characteristics. Almost every bit of your DNA, 99.9%, is exactly the same as every other human being's DNA. It's the other 0.1% that makes you different from all other people in the world.
Unit 3, page 29. The Internet comes to the rescue. The Amazon is not only the largest tropical forest in the world, it is also one of the most threatened. But the good news is that the Internet is coming to the rescue. There's still hope for the future of the great forest. Every second of every day, cattle ranchers, industrial-scale soy producers, loggers, and miners cut down a slice of the Amazon rainforest the size of a football field. Ranching, illegal logging, mining, and other destructive practices are a constant threat to one of the richest and most diverse ecosystems on the planet. In addition to its wealth of discovered and undiscovered flora and fauna, more than 220,000 people from 180 different indigenous populations live in the Amazon. These people rely on this ancient forest for their way of life. They need the forest for almost everything, from food to shelter to tools and medicines. The destruction of the forest is a threat to their survival. Brazilian Environment Minister Marina Silva is announcing a move to provide free internet access to native Indian tribes to help protect the Amazon rainforest. The government intends to create a digital system for monitoring and protecting the forest, called the Forest Peoples Network, providing satellite access to 150 isolated regions. Indigenous communities are the true protectors of their areas, says the minister. In fact, organizations from outside the Amazon forest do not protect it from illegal activities. They do not stop deforestation. They do not prevent illegal mining or logging. It's a way to open communications between indigenous communities and the rest of society, Ms. Silva says. Most indigenous leaders support the program, but others fear that the arrival of computers is against indigenous culture. I don't like computers, but I don't like planes either, Ailton Krenak, a member of the Krenak people, says. What can you do? Unit 4, page 37. Monkeys with a Mission.
Sometimes a man is thirsty and wants a drink of water, but he is not able to get it. The man, George Boyle of Cleveland, Alabama, is a quadriplegic. He uses an electric wheelchair to get around. He can't move his arms or legs because his neck was broken in a car accident. So his good friend Gizmo gets the drink for him. Gizmo is a helpful, playful female monkey. In the picture, we can see her getting ready to put a bottle of water in a holder, open it, and insert a straw. Gizmo comes from Helping Hands, an organization in Boston, Massachusetts, that trains capuchin monkeys to help disabled people. Small, clean, friendly, and intelligent, capuchin monkeys always form good relationships with people. With monkeys to help them, quadriplegics can live on their own more easily. Gizmo can open and shut doors, turn pages of a magazine, and do other tasks for Boyle. She can also bring food and drinks to her owner, help to feed him, and then clear the table. Every morning a social worker helps Boyle bathe and dress. Then Boyle and Gizmo spend the day together. Friends for 5 years, Gizmo often knows what Boyle wants before he asks her. More than a helper to a disabled person, that monkey is Boyle's special little friend.
Unit 5, page 47. The Father of Flight.
Alberto Santos Dumont, 1873–1932, was born in Brazil and educated in Paris. He made his first balloon ascent in 1898, and soon after that began constructing dirigible airships. In 1901, he won a Paris air race and international fame. After the race, he asked Louis Cartier for a timepiece that would keep his hands free, the first wristwatch. Turning to heavier-than-air machines, Santos Dumont built his 14 bis in 1906, 3 years after the Wright brothers' initial flight. His flight was the first in Europe, and his plane was the first anywhere to lift off the ground under its own power. In 1909, Santos Dumont designed the Demoiselle monoplane, the forerunner of modern light planes. In 1910, Santos Dumont fell ill with multiple sclerosis and retired from flying. He returned to Brazil in 1916. Ill and despondent over the use of aircraft in warfare, he committed suicide in 1932.
Unit 6, page 57. The Man Who Wanted to Know Everything. Who is this man? Where did he live? What did he do? Why is he famous?
Leonardo da Vinci, 1452–1519, one of the outstanding figures of the Renaissance, was the world's greatest designer. He left over 7,000 pages of notes and drawings. You need a mirror to read many of Leonardo's notes because he wrote them in reverse, starting at the right side of the page and moving to the left. Knowledge was Leonardo's passion. That universal man, symbol of his time and anticipator of ours, had a remarkable imagination and curiosity. His ideas for all kinds of inventions were well ahead of his time. He anticipated the future with projects of submarines, war tanks, machine guns, parachutes, and flying machines. One of Leonardo's projects was to create a flying machine. His dream was to fly like a bird. He observed the flight of birds, studying the anatomy of their wings and the function of the feathers. After watching birds' flight, Leonardo concluded that in the absence of an engine, not invented until centuries later, the best prospect for human flight was fixed-wing gliding. He then designed a machine similar to a modern hang glider. It had a wooden frame and two huge wings similar to a bat's wings, which were worked by the pilot's hands and feet. The pilot lay down in the frame of the machine and pumped pedals to move its wings. Leonardo also anticipated the invention of the helicopter and the parachute, which shows the great man's fascination with flight.